Alright, now we're doing 7Q Survive the Attack. This is by Eva RD, and 84% of the people like it. So given two arrays in which values are the power of each soldier, we're going to return true if the soldier survives the attack or false if they perish. So we're going to have attackers and defenders. Each soldier attacks the opposing soldier in the same index of the array. The survivor is the number with the highest value. If the value is the same, they both perish. If one of the values is empty, the non-empty value soldier survives. To survive, the defending side must have more survivors than the attacking side. In a case where there are the same number of survivors on both sides, the winner is the team with the highest initial attack power. Right? If the total attack power of both sides is the same, we're going to return true. And also the initial attack power is the sum of all the values in each array. All right, and so here's some examples. This one, there's 0 survivors on the attacker, 4 on the survivors, so we're going to return true. Pardon me, 4 on the defenders, so true. So whenever the defenders win, it's true, and whenever the attackers win, it's false. And in this case, where they're both the same number of survivors, attackers have more damage, so it's false. Because of all these added together and all these added together. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, well, here's a video explaining it, sort of. All right. So right here we can say, let's just think about this for a second. So first we're going to need to have a count of who survives these attacks. Like right here, we would have like the count of the attackers. They win this one. All right. They win this one. They win this one, but they lose this one, right? So the count of the attackers would be 3, and the count of the defenders would be 1. So to do that, first let's just declare some count variables. Let's say let count A equals 0. Let count D equal 0, right? Now we're going to go through a for loop going through these arrays. And if it's an array like this, where it's empty, we're going to make it to where the opposing guys get all the points or whatever. All right, so we're going to say for let I equals 0. So if I is less than attackers dot length, or while I is less than defenders dot length I plus plus. All right, just in case one of these is empty or has fewer numbers. All right, so now we're going to come down here and what are we going to do? We're going to check to see if these are okay. Let's just do the if. We're going to check which one's going to win. So if attackers at I is greater than defenders at I, or, all right, and this is just in this case, or if defenders at I equals, what would it be if it's right here? Undefined, undefined, all right? So if attackers are more than defenders or there's no defender to attack against, we're going to say count A plus plus. Then we're going to do an else if, and we're going to do the opposite for this one. We're going to say if defenders at I is greater than attackers at I. Ooh, let me put this over here. All right, that's not it. All right. So if that's the case, or what did we do first? Or attackers at I equals undefined. What we're going to do is we're going to say count D plus plus, right? Now let's check these out. Let's say console.log count. Well, that's not how we do it. Count A console.log count D. All right, let's check these out just for a little test. All right, so 3-1, and like we said before, 1, 2, 3 wins for the attackers and 1 loss for the, and then 1 win for the defenders. So 3 and 1 is what we're looking for. So that's good. Now let's start. Actually, let's take care of this edge case first. So in the case where there are the same number of survivors on both sides, the winner is the team with the highest initial attack power, and the attack power is the sum of all values in each array. So we're going to have to sum all the values in both of these separately. So down here, what are we going to do here? We're going to say if, to start off with, if count A equals count D, what we're going to do is first we're going to declare some variables so we can do this sum thing, and we're going to let sum A equal, and then we're going to say attackers dot reduce. And if you don't know about the reduce method executes a user-supplied reducer callback function on each element of the array in order, passing in the return value from the calculation on the preceding element. The final result of running the reducer across all elements of the array is a single value. Also, the first time that the callback is run, there's no return value of the previous calculation. So if supplied, an initial value may be used in its place, and we will be using an initial value. Otherwise, the array element at index 0 is used, and this is because sometimes on ours, there's not even going to be anything at index 0, so we need to use this 0 right here. And perhaps the easiest to understand case for reduce is to return the sum of all elements, all right? And so for the syntax we're going to use this what are we doing? Attacker.reduce. We're going to have accumulator and current value as the arguments. We're going to have this expression right after the arrow, and then we're also going to have after this comma and the initial value, which will be 0, all right? So let's knock that out right here. For the arguments, we're saying accumulator right here, ACC for accumulator, cur for current value, and then we're going to say accumulator plus current value, and we're going to have comma 0 right there. And then we're going to have a comma after that and say let sum D equal defenders dot reduce. All right, ac cur arrow ac plus cur comma 0 like that, and that should work. We could do the we might as well console.log sum D sum A and console.log sum D. All right, let's test that out just to see what it looks like. If we get anything, no. All right, well, trust me, it'll probably work, maybe. Who knows? So let's come down here. So if this is the case, what we're going to do is say, we've got that. If this is the case, we're going to say if in here, if sum A is greater than sum D, we're going to say return false, because if the defenders are greater, it's going to be true. And then down here, we're going to just say outside of this if statement, inside of this if statement, we're going to say return true. All right, and that's just for the edge case. So this is all for the edge case. Now we're going to do the main case, and we're just going to say return what was it? Count D greater than count A. So if count D is greater than count A, true, and if not, false. Let's test it out. And there we go. All right. And so we got that done. Let's attempt it and submit it. All right, that wasn't too awful. All right, so we can come down and read all these huge answers if we want. Here's a nice short one, but that would have been cooler. Oh, whatever. Anyway, there's a bunch of those if you want to check them all out. Let's go over here to mine. Just me on this one. Best practice in my opinion. Very much like it, and we'll see you next time.